Hello and welcome to the Dairy Digest. I'm Dr. Jackie Borman. Today on the Purdue Dairy Digest, we will discuss if there's an optimal body weight for first lactation animals at calving and what factors should be considered in determining optimal body weight. In the past 2 decades, there's been considerable research and changing recommendations for what the optimal age and body weight at first calving is in order to maximize profit. Some would recommend that reducing age at first calving to less than 22 months is an opportunity to reduce feed costs associated with growing heifers, whereas others have suggested that although this reduces the time the animals are not producing milk, first lactation milk yield is reduced if animals have to continue to grow more in their first lactation. Therefore, they would recommend that keeping age at first calving to between 23 and 24 months of age will optimize milk production. As an alternative to evaluating age at first calving, body weight as a percent of mature body weight can be evaluated to determine the optimal time the animals should calve. Researchers at Penn State and the University of Florida have evaluated the relationship between body weight at first calving and first lactation milk yield, as well as survivability in the herd. They evaluated approximately 2,300 cows that had body weight measurements after calving, as well as their milk production and culling records. They divided cows into 5 groups based on their body weight after calving, and animals in the lowest 40th percentile for body weight did, on average, produce less milk in their first lactation than the animals that weighed in the top 60th percentile for body weight at first calving. This result would support that animals that are smaller at first calving are having to allocate more nutrients to growth, and therefore their milk production is reduced in first lactation. This is true for the average of the group. However, there is considerable variation in milk production across body weights. When the same group looked at survivability, the animals that were the heaviest, 20%, were more likely to be culled from the herd. These same heavier heifers at calving were more likely to lose more weight after calving, and in the long term did not produce more milk even though they had an advantage in first lactation over the lightest calves. The researchers indicated that the optimal body weight, expressed as a percent of mature body weight, should be between 73 and 77% to maximize survivability as well as milk production. This number is lower than what has been previously reported, as 82 to 83% is optimal. But that value is based on first lactation milk yield without consideration for long-term survivability in the herd. As animals have different genetic potential for growth, there is likely no optimal age to breed animals, but more appropriately an optimal body weight. The research described, although limited to 2 research herds, indicates that although heavier animals may produce more milk, they also tend to lose more body weight after calving and have increased culling risk, suggesting that an intermediate body weight may be more appropriate for longevity of cattle. Dairy farms can track body weights of heifers and cows at first calving, and they have the capability of interpreting this data for their own herd. However, there is considerable variation in milk production and reasons for culling, so large data sets are really needed in order to have confidence that the interpretation is accurate. The paper discussed points out the importance of looking at not only milk production records, but also survivability and body weight change if we are going to make suggestions for what the optimal body weight at first calving should be. If you are a subscriber to the podcast, can you do us a favor and rate us in iTunes? If you're not a subscriber, become one today, and you can listen to this podcast at your own time. Thank you.